Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Welcome back to another Friday night edition, a Friday night live show, live commentary type thing, as we treat the world's slide into a post-capitalist fascist eco-bomb like a football game that we jovially commentate along to. Welcome. Pull up a pew, grab yourself a beer, crack open a wine, whatever it is that you need to self-medicate your way through another one of these weeks. It's the weekend, right? We've lived through another week of barrel scraping lows, but we're all here on a Friday night together once more. It's been another absolute shit show of a week, has it not? What better way to make sense of said shit show than with our very own shit show? Right here for you now, guys. Who's in the live chat tonight? You may be able to tell I'm not firing on all cylinders tonight, this week. I am absolutely mauled. I am destroyed. If you've been on any of my socials, you will know that I've been battling this this lurgy all week. Is it COVID? Don't know. Not sure what it is, but it has beaten 10 bells of shit out of me. It really has. What's up to Brian White? Just dropped a super chat. How you doing, Brian? Also, a big thanks to Ruth Guthrie, who dropped a super chat or super thanks in earlier. Cheeky little tips. Yuri's in the chat. LU2D Games is in the chat. How you doing? Mojo Sabian, Diz is in the house. Is Richard Marston about? Richard Marston and Diz, of course, came down to the Patreon meetup last Saturday. Always good fun. I did fall off the wagon. If any of you were tuning in for the Friday Night Live show last week, I said, I've just got this feeling I'm going to fall spectacularly off the wagon. I did manage to hold it together. I only had like 3 beers. But it was literally my first 3 beers for like 8 months. In fact, no, it would have been 11 months. So I very nearly made it a whole year with no alcohol. How about that shit? Go me. Does this mean I'm going to dive headfirst back into booze? No. No, it does not. I'm definitely continuing my break from it for the time being. What's up to Gareth? Also in the live chat tonight. Hope you guys are well. I see my son has popped in there as well. Gareth says, 3 beers, but what else? Absolutely nothing else. Knocked it on the head at 3. I was like, that's good enough for me. I'm okay. Because the problem is, right, as a father, as somebody who, and I've spoken about childcare challenges before, right? But as somebody who knows that you have to get up at a certain time, sort the kids out with their breakfast, start coordinating the day, working out what you're going to do for the day. You sort of 4-way it up. You kind of look ahead of time. And you go, is this worth that pain? Am I actually mortgaging my later joy from myself here? Like sitting here with my pint of craft ale, which is admittedly delicious. It is making me feel better. I feel happy as I'm consuming it. But am I borrowing that happiness off future me? You wonder to yourself. And, of course, you look forward into the future and you see the horror show that you will be should you decide to continue going down that road. It's like a sort of Final Destination moment. You see that horror story ahead of you. And you do what you can to get off that plane, which is a very topical reference, isn't it? Normally my pop culture references are, 20, 30 years out of date. But it's funny. You don't have to update your pop culture references. You just wait for a news story to arise that brings them back topical again. Anyway, right, I suppose we should talk about some newsy stuff, shouldn't we? We'll get the chat up on the live screen thing here. Here we go. So what's been happening out there in Newsland this week? We have had Israel detaining Greta. We've had Israel attacking Iran. We've had Donald Trump putting the National Guard out in California, and then the courts ruling against Donald Trump for having put out the National Guard in California. The High Court here have rejected a private school's challenge on Labour's VAT policy, which is lol, if you ask me. That's very, very funny stuff. This group of private schools tried to take the government to court, went all the way up to the High Court, and the High Court were like, no. What are you doing? You're wasting your money. You don't have a case here, lads. You know, imagine that shit. Imagine trying to make your case that you are not a luxury consumer product. Like, you're just an everyday consumer product. That's what you are. For everyday working class consumers, you're making that case with a cut glass accent and Harrow crest on your lapel. You know, like, what did you say? You said you're not a luxury consumer. Is that what you said? I couldn't quite make it out. You had a load of caviar in your mouth. Over stateside. Somebody in the live chat's telling me that the clip has just dropped. The clip has just dropped. What does that mean? Are you telling me like the feed is a bit slow or glitchy or something? Let me know in the chat. Shall I do the Week in MAGA thing? Have I got the thing up? Where is it? Oh yeah, here we go. The Week in MAGA. A Week in MAGA. There you go. What else happened over stateside? So, Trump's pick for Director of National Intelligence, a lady by the name of Tulsi Gabbard, and she was tasked with deciding which JFK files should be released to the public, because that was a big thing, right? In the run-up to the election, he's all against the deep state. He doesn't want any more secrets. So he was like, you know, day one, we're going to declassify all of the JFK files. And everybody was like, why didn't you just do it last time? You know, this isn't your first rodeo. What the fuck are you talking about? You should have just declassified it all last time. Why now? He was like, that's it, day one, no more secrets. We're going to declassify, we're going to unredact the JFK files. And that was like part of her thing, Tulsi Gabbard, right? So she's tasked with unredacting and releasing some of that information. She has now admitted this week, Trump's pick for Director of National Intelligence, she's admitted uploading those government documents to ChatGPT. And just asking ChatGPT to tell her, which if you're not familiar with it, right, it's an AI thing. You could just ask it anything. You could say, write me an essay on this, and it'll go off, research it, write it, hand it back to you. So she uploads these sensitive government documents and just says, yeah, can you tell me which ones of these I should release? So that was fun. Like, people are typically kind of worried about whether AI will take jobs, aren't they? That's a common worry for people. Will AI steal everybody's jobs, they wonder? And normally I'm quite worried about that. I do think there's a big risk of automation gobbling up lots and lots and lots of jobs, right? But now with stories like this, I feel like, do you know what? I think people will still give the jobs to a human, but it'll just be to whichever human ticks all their other boxes. You know, like if they're suspected of being an ally of Assad, which Tulsi Gabbard is, if they're suspected of being a Putin apologist, which Tulsi Gabbard is, check. As long as like she matches, as long as she ticks all of the other boxes, they'll just give her this job on the basis that she could just ask ChatGPT to do all of the heavy lifting. Like she won't even need to be qualified for it. So they'll still give the job to a human. It's just now that it thanks to AI, it can be any human. It can even be Tulsi Gabbard. Guys, in a way, it's inclusive. What else has been going on? A massive fuck-off plane crash, of course, happened. The Air India flight. Sorry, I'm just checking the live chat, making sure that nothing's dropped out. Yeah, a massive plane crash happened in Air India, or on an Air India flight, right? 240 people dead. One guy walked away with scratches. Excuse me. That happened yesterday. What else has happened? I saw some stuff this week. The Grammys, guys, if you will indulge me for a second. I know that we are mostly sort of dystopia politics fans round these parts, aren't we? But just indulge me with a bit of muso kind of socioeconomic ranting for a sec. Cheers, by the way. The Grammys have responded to Beyonce winning the Best Country Album, which was a bone of contention for some people. They've responded to Beyonce winning the Best Country Album by splitting it into two categories for next year. So it will now be Best Contemporary Country Album or Best Traditional Country Album. Contemporary or traditional. Okay? Which is pretty funny, right? Because it's not even subtle, is it? Like, in comes this black hip-hop R&B singer lady, Beyonce. She's got like 10, 15 years of solid R&B hip-hop behind her. And then she flips. She just rebrands. She puts a cowboy hat on. She has like 2 songs on the album that have a fiddle and a slide guitar on it. And she probably got another one where there's like a lyric in it about Texas or something. And she calls the album Cowboy Carter, because that's her surname. She's married to Jay-Z. Cowboy Carter. And just off the back of that, off the 3 or 4 of those things, it's not even really a country album. Just off the back of that, it wins Best Country Album at the fucking Grammys. Guys. And so obviously all of the Texas and Mississippi and Georgia fucking Dixieland types, they're just not having it at all, are they? They're not having this. This is like Noel Gallagher versus Jay-Z at Glastonbury all over again, isn't it? Like, that, it doesn't belong. That's not real country. That's not real rock. It's the same thing. So now the Grammys are like, all right, we'll have to solve this problem, we'll have Best Contemporary Modern Country Album for your Beyonce fans. Because then it can include Beyonce, it can include other people who are venturing that way. It can celebrate, it can embrace, it can accept drum loops, synthesized drums and all of that. But then we'll have Best Traditional Country Album over here. And so this way, if Garth Brooks puts out another LP, you can still cheer him on without fear of, somebody dragging your ass out of the 1870s and singing about ranches and whiskey and horses and shit. And so then everybody's happy, right? You've got your category and we've got our category. And, we'll just have a little bit of racial segregation at the Grammys. Like, why aren't people happy with a bit of racial segregation? Which is definitely what is happening here. And so, yeah, obviously people aren't happy about this solution, this problem. I saw this thing earlier in response to the Grammys splitting these things into contemporary and traditional. this thing, the headline was like, you couldn't wait 2 years or something, before changing these categories so it wasn't 100% obvious what you were responding to? You couldn't wait 2 years even, really? It had to be done right now, did it? A matter of weeks after she wins Best Country. Like, you didn't want to make it completely fucking obvious. Like, is the racism really... does it need to be that immediate? Is it urgent? And look, I do kind of get it. I kind of get it. I understand a little bit of the frustration with it. Because seeing Beyonce go country does come off as pretty cynical to me. Like, I think we talked about this before, didn't we? A few weeks ago on a different episode. When it first... because it was a few weeks ago that she won the Grammy for it. But like with her and the influx of R&B artists who've moved to country because the fan base there in the southern states, they still actually go out and buy records. Like that's what it is. It's a commercial decision. It's not because they've all suddenly got really artistically curious about what happens in Texas. In the Grand Ole Opry. Like all of these guys, all of them. Miley Cyrus, Machine Gun Kelly, Beyonce, Post Malone, all of them made their names and their money in pop or hip-hop, and then they just saw where the market was going, and they packed up and they headed south. That's what happened. So I get the cynicism. I get the anger to an extent. Like, don't gentrify this. This is our thing. This is our music, our culture, right? But it's also a little bit like, you got to tread really fucking carefully here, Grammys, all right? You got to tread a bit carefully. Because you really don't want to be telling, the black lady that she's not really country, that she can't ever really be country. She's not welcome. You're not welcome here in our Dixieland counties. Like, think of the optics of what you're doing here, guys. Like, if she says she's country and it got played on country stations and there's like a single that's got a slide guitar and a fiddle on it or whatever, and people voted for it to give it the best of it, like, fine, just let it be. Except that things are changing and that somebody won that award. But don't fuck around with new categories, traditional country and contemporary country, just to sort of half weirdly fix this. Like, do you remember when Taylor Swift, I don't know how many of you are aware of this stuff. Taylor Swift started off as a country artist, right? Excuse me. When Taylor Swift moved from country to pop, like, nobody categorized her for her Grammy nominations as like, oh, well, we'll call it contemporary pop. All of the real pop stars will be traditional pop. You'll never really be pop, Taylor. Nobody did that, did they? So it's weird, isn't it? It's weird. Like, when you read a story about something like this and you're like, I can't fully put my finger on it. I can't totally call it out as racism. I'm sure, there is some cynicism and some prank, but there's definite fuckery to it, isn't there? Anyway, that's my Muso update. What else has been going on, guys? What else is happening out there in Newsland? There have been some race riots in Ballymena. Ballymena has gone bally-mental, people. Yes, I will throw some wordplay out there on a Friday night. Race riots in Ballymena, Northern Ireland. We've all read about it now, haven't we? We've all seen the footage. We've all been saddened, concerned. None of us have been so concerned and saddened as career feminist, women's rights activist and Me Too campaigner Tommy Robinson, who was among the first to voice his concerns for the safety of women and girls once again in this, with regards to this story. And this is, of course, the latest instance of him doing so, adding to a rich and textured back catalogue of campaigning to increase the rape conviction rate for women to be above 1%, rolling out new HR procedures in companies to make it easier for women to share information with each other about problematic members of staff, demanding the hundreds of Metropolitan Police officers under investigation for sexual offences are named and prosecuted, because he's done all of those things. I'm sure he's done all of those things. Being the women's rights, women's safety activist campaigner that he so clearly is. It's definitely not just about the fact that he hates foreigners. I'm positive it's not just about that with this again. If you cast your mind back, all those photos. Do you remember Tommy Robinson? All those times that he appeared on like charity events in a pink polo shirt with his little Me Too badge on. Do you remember that? What a hero! What an ally that guy is. So yeah, that was reassuring to see him voice his concerns for women and girls, and he wasn't alone, of course. I saw the footage of all of the lads with the balaclavas on, and they're holding their Molotov cocktails and holding their bats, and they're smashing up cars and shops and businesses. And I looked at the footage, guys, on my phone, flicking through TikTok yesterday. Saw this one kid smash a thing, and then the other kid runs past him, giggling about it. He smashes something up. Another one puts a sign up saying Filipinos live in this one, and pointing them out for the gangs. It's, pretty scary stuff. And I looked at the footage and I thought, wow. Like women's safety activists come in all shapes and sizes now, don't they? The cause is going great, isn't it? I thought to myself, it is reaching way outside of its normal circles, isn't it? It's quite clearly, it's not just Guardian readers anymore. It's these lads too. They care so deeply. Sometimes I think it helps if we just pan out a little bit with this sort of thing. And you ask yourself, searching questions and gradually get more broadly. So, why are people angry in Ballymena, right? They're angry because 2 Romanian kids allegedly tried to assault a local 14-year-old Irish girl. Excuse me. Which is, obviously she, her family, friends, the police, everyone, all very angry about that. But why are they, not the family, not the friends, these guys on the street with the balaclavas, the Molotov cocktails, why are they, the rioters, why are they really angry about it? They're really angry about it because the kids are Romanian, right? And we know that because they haven't, firebombed and looted and done all of this stuff before, when other stuff has happened and it's been like a white kid or a white man that's done this stuff. So it's obviously socioeconomically based. It's obviously a little bit about race, right? So these guys are angry, and it's because the kids who were alleged of having committed these crimes happen to be Romanian. Now, broaden it out a little bit more. Why is being Romanian such a problem in that part of the world? Well, let's dig into it. So it's because Ballymena had an industrial bent to it. They had Michelin tires. They had Gallagher's tobacco. Both factories there employed hundreds, if not thousands of people. They had Wright Bus manufacturing and fix sort of repair stuff there. They had the Patton Group. It's quite a big construction company that was based there a few years ago. And then 3 out of 4 of those quit the town. They just shuttered and they moved their operations to Europe, to Poland, in fact. And so then the resentment starts, doesn't it? Then the hate, the intolerance begins. The idea that because there's some immigrants coming to the town. They do some low-paid work. They do, you'll see them around. They'll be renting places next to you or going to, their kids will go to school with your kids or whatever. But they'll be working in meat packing and hospitality and doing gig economy jobs. But those are the jobs that the now redundant lot who used to work at Michelin, or the sons of those who used to work at Michelin, those are the same jobs that they're now going for, that they're competing for. So now you have a problem. And there's this sense that because you used to be a middle manager on 45 grand a year for Michelin, and now you can't even get the job over a Romanian for £13.70 an hour to go and work in a chippy. Like, that's where the problem is. Like, there's jealousy, there's competition, there's confusion. The deindustrialization, the desperation, the decline. That's where it starts. So, what should happen there in that scenario? Michelin shut down. Gallagher's Tobacco shuts down. The construction one shuts down. The Wright Bus factory and Fix-It shop, that shuts down. And these are just the ones that I found out about. There's probably others. What should happen when they all shut down and all of these people are left unemployed? Should the government step in at that point and say, okay, all right, you lot are leaving Ballymena, maybe we put retraining programs in to catch these people as they fall out of the workforce. Maybe we invest in the area. Are the skills that these people have, could they be cross-trained? Could they be used in another industry? Like if we set up a power plant here, if we set up another type of factory or blah, blah, could we then, is this a good place to do that, given the number of people here who already have that skill set? Could we put a coding school or camp in there to retrain these people with skills that are going to be needed in the 21st century rather than the last century? Is there something that government could do to step in and catch these people? So that ideally, you don't end up with this burgeoning, this... what's the word? Is it like germenting or germaning or whatever? Oh, where you got a seed and it starts to sprout. So you don't have the first green shoots of xenophobia. Like, you would have thought that in Northern Ireland, of all places, there would be some fucking appetite to nip that intolerance in the bud. Wouldn't you? Like that hate, that intolerance, that division. Like, let's not go down this road again, lads. Come on, Decline breeds desperate people, and desperate people will run to easy answers, and the people who sell easy answers are never the good guys. So what the fuck are we doing here? Let's set up a factory. Let's start training these people. Let's take care of them, right? But no, I was reading earlier that because Stormont was suspended, Northern Ireland government, while a lot of this stuff was going on in the couple of years after Brexit, 2017, 2018, these places shut down. Then minimal Northern Irish support was even discussed, let alone agreed upon. And even if you come away from Northern Ireland and you go back to Westminster for support, apparently Westminster were like, well, we'll pay. I tell you what we'll do, right? It's really sad that that's happening. But also, we are a Tory government and we're very pro-Brexit, and we can't be seen to be addressing or plugging holes that may or may not have been caused by the uncertainty around a Brexit. So I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll pay for a jobs fair. That's what we'll do. That's what you get. We'll pay for like a CV workshop for all these people to attend, where they can brush up their CV. They can learn how to make the skills of the last century look a little bit different, a little bit more appetizing if they're not written in Comic Sans. It's still the old skills. It's still the outdated skill set, but it just won't be in Comic Sans anymore. It'll be in Arial Black. I'm sure that's all it'll take. Like, I know you lost thousands of jobs in the industrial heartlands, and you're trying to avoid a flare-up of fascism and hate. But would a couple of girls from a deco for the afternoon, would that fix it? Was the approach from Westminster, and very little from Stormont. And this is the thing, man, is had the Tories, and look, not everything is about the Tories, but they did happen to be in power for those years. Had they supported from Westminster towns like Ballymena or up in the Red Wall or anywhere that they or Labour are now, you know, on the front lines of populism fighting against Farage, had they met this challenge head on or predicted it off the back of the hundreds of studies out there that say desperation breeds racism and resentment, which in turn breeds fascism, if they had just adhered or listened or read any of those studies, the Tories, probably could have avoided their own extinction, which is what they're now facing, couldn't they? If they had just done that ahead of time. But because all of those initiatives and training and help would have been seen as woke or handouts or whatever, then even then it's like, go fuck yourselves. Go, like, you made a rod for your own back, right? You could have helped people and avoided this whole situation. You could have helped yourselves and avoided extinction. But now we are where we are. And it's worse for fucking everybody. Like, you can help people then or see them abandon you now. Those are your realistic options with this sort of thing. Like, I doubt, honestly, here's the depressing thing. I doubt even half of the rioters involved in this sort of thing, I doubt they even fucking want a job now. Like, the rot is so deeply set in. Like, you want to get them just after they've got their P45 from Michelin or Gallagher's or whatever. That's when you want to get them and help them. When they're feeling a bit hopeless and they want a new job. They want their livelihood sorted. They want that financial security sorted. But you can't leave it 10 years and let them all get fucking radicalized into thinking Romanians and Albanians are culturally different and they're a threat. And now it's become this lad's entire fucking identity. You know, his whole social group is built on racism. The places he goes, the things that they talk about, the apps, the videos they watch. Anyway, it's all got a bit serious now, isn't it? It's not the usual vibe for a Friday night. Is it? We're sort of switching up the genres a little bit here, aren't we? Maybe this is the new contemporary show. Maybe we should flip it back to the traditional podcast now. How about that shit? So, 2 nights, guys. 2 nights. Should we check in with the live chat? How are we doing in the live chat? Shall I flip up a little bit? My throat is absolutely ruined. How are you guys doing? Do you know what? It's roasting in here as well. It's so hot in here tonight. Is it just generally humid outside? Because it feels like outrageously warm in this cabin for this time of night. Oh. Billy Kershaw says, "I not bad." Flint Reed says, "I'm good, thanks, Aid. Hope you're well. I am sweating here in Wales too." Mojo Sabin says, "Is it my imagination or is Aid a bit angrier than normal?" Do you know what, Mojo? I am delirious, and yeah, I think I've reached the end of my tether this week. I think I've just run out of patience. Maybe it was like having the beers last weekend, and then I've been ill all week. It feels like I've had my week robbed of me. And I can barely, like, it feels like after we wrap this show, I'm going to go in there and I'm just going to pass out. Because, like, my daughter climbed into bed with me last night. at about 2. And I don't think I got back to sleep after that. So I feel completely like gone. Thank you very much to Yuri for the super chat. I am supping a strawberry beer and wallowing in the dystopia. Silla! Thank you, man. Thank you. Have I missed any other super chats? Let me just have a quick look. No, I think we're good. Dub, 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 dub. How do I get rid of the thing? Oh, there we go. Gareth says, have to say, Aid, you're doing a lot better than I would be doing in your state. Well, you got to tough it out, haven't you? Louis C.K., stand-up comedian, said, he said, parenting is the only job that you can't just quit. You can't just go like, that's it, I'm done. I'm going home. And he's right. It's true. There have been times where I'm just like, oh, Lord. Oh, God. Can I have a day off? But you wouldn't change him for the world, would you? Right, tonight for our final segment, guys. I thought slightly off-brand. And after the rantiness, the seriousness of radicalization, deprivation, and decline, I thought let's lift it up. Let's keep it light. Let's lift the mood a little bit. For our final segment, reasons to be cheerful. Oh my God, my lighting's going now. It's all going well, isn't it? Flint Reed says, have yourself a cornetto, Aid. Dropping a £5 in the super chat. Thank you, man. What the fuck is going on with my lighting here? Hold on. I'm trying to work out why it's like auto-adjusting the lighting. No, that's even worse. Hold on. Right. How's that? Mojo says it's aliens making contact with you, Aid. Yeah, might be. Bringing me back to my home planet. Right, so reasons to be cheerful tonight. Going off-brand. Trying to find some good news to leave you with. To round off the pod with. Here are some uplifting facts. Stories, things, and stuff that I have managed to clobber together through the bleary and bloodshot eyes that I have been exhibiting all week through this lurgy. Are you ready? I think I've got 5 of them. So, number 5. I should probably have some music for this, but I don't have any teed up. Ba 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 ba. Number 5, you ready? Prince William, guys. Prince William has stepped up to become ocean's protector. He wants to preserve biodiversity. He wants to end ocean pollution, abuse, and toxic dumping. So it says, Prince William is going to be ocean's protector. End ocean pollution, toxic. So that's cool. That's nice, I think. It's nice to see somebody set themselves a goal that is that, impressive, compassionate. I mean, he did say before he was going to end homelessness. Didn't he? Has he ended homelessness yet in the UK? I don't know if he has. But it's a nice gesture. It's, his heart's in the right place. It's the thought that counts. Guys, that's number 5. Number 4, HIV cure advances this week. Scientists are moving closer than ever to HIV remission/cure. This was noted in global medical progress reports over the last few days. That's pretty cool, isn't it? I mean, it's quite weird when you think, like, what a death sentence it used to be, how serious it used to be reported as, like, back in the 80s and in the early and mid-90s. To see something go as far from that to now, where it is basically, it's just like a treatable condition, isn't it? Pretty good, pretty positive, right? Leaving you on a high note here. So number 5 was Prince William. Number 4, HIV cure advances. Number 3, guys. This one's going to blow your fucking mind. You ready? Number 3. Nanotech artificial leaf innovation. Right? Nanotech artificial leaf. Think about that. An artificial leaf made out of nanotechnology. Innovation around that, right? Researchers at the University of California in Berkeley and Cambridge University unveiled solar-driven leaves that convert CO2 into hydrocarbons. So this is massive. This is shit. Like, imagine that shit. You know, for all the piss-taking that I and many, many other people have done about carbon capture, you know, like when the Tories said they were going to pursue carbon capture. So basically it was a license for them to continue drilling, wasn't it? It was like, you know, well, this is why we're signing off all of these things in the North Sea. This is why we're still signing more contracts with Saudi Arabia. It's because actually we're looking at carbon capture, this sort of pie in the sky, unproven technology. And now, like, don't I feel like a complete idiot? You know, now that there's these reports coming out from Berkeley and Cambridge. Researchers at UC Berkeley and Cambridge University unveiled solar-driven leaves that convert CO2 into hydrocarbons. And apparently, yeah, it just takes solar energy, and then these fake leaves, like, use the solar energy to convert CO2, carbon, like, in the atmosphere, back into energy, and that energy could replace, ultimately, fossil fuels. Like, it's how fucking amazing is that? The possibilities are endless. Upbeat, happy news stories, guys. Probably next week we'll find out it, you know, didn't come to anything, and, you know, the report was misinterpreted or it was disinformation or whatever. But for now, people, let's try to, you got to take your wins where you can. Let's bask and dance in the ignorance that it probably will turn out to be rubbish. Or the technology will get bought out by a fossil fuel company and never released. That could also happen. The intellectual property. I mean, what did MBS do? Guy from Saudi Arabia, Prince, isn't he? The crown prince of Saudi Arabia. Like, I mean, he chopped up Khashoggi on a fucking Zoom call for just being a bit critical of Saudi. So I don't know what anyone thinks that they're going to do if you actually threaten their income with your magic leaves. Like, they're just going to let you get away with that? No. But we should be happy. Let's be happy about it for now. So that was number 3. Number 2. Let's get down to number 2. Darren Grimes, guys. Friend of the show, Darren Grimes. Darren Grimes is looking like he might get suspended as a counsellor. I'm pretty excited about this. This is good news. Darren Grimes might get suspended as a reform councillor up in the no-nonsense north, where he was elected. I'll drink to that. Cheers. He was on the socials this week. I saw it on Threads. I saw it on X. He said he's been threatened that he might get suspended if he refuses to do his DEI and net zero training. Apparently. Threatened with being suspended if he doesn't do the DEI. And I was like, are you sure it's, you know, that you're refusing to do the DEI training? Darren, are you sure that's what this is? Because I've worked in offices for like 20 years now. Various different offices, different industries. I've done all kinds of training, Darren. I've done, human resources training. I've done unconscious bias. I've done misconduct in the workplace. I've done all of it. I've done all of the trainings. I've literally never heard of DEI training. I don't think that's the thing that exists, Darren. I've never heard of net zero training. Like, Aid, we've booked you in for your net zero training. No, that's not a thing. I'm refusing to do my net zero. Did you just make it up? Who is inviting you to these things? I actually replied back to him earlier today. I said, are you sure that the suspension, the threat of suspension is for not doing the DEI thing? I said, or might it be like the time that Byline Times reported on how you were suspended from GB News pending an investigation into sexual harassment? Maybe your route out of this is actually just getting Dan Wootton to advocate for you again, like he allegedly reportedly did with the GB News sexual harassment allegations. He was like, no, Darren's all right. And then he was allowed back in, according to Byline Times. I hope he does get suspended. I hope Darren Grimes does get let go. I hope that happens. Although, do you know what? If he does lose his job and he's up in the post-industrial heartlands, the no-nonsense north, like he always likes to bang on about. If he loses his job and there's a lack of opportunities up there for him, give it enough time and he might start blaming immigrants, spouting moronic, divisive rhetoric. I wonder what that'll be like. Anyway, the last story tonight, to round off the pod, the last reason to be cheerful, the last happy story to leave you with a smile on your face and a song in your heart. Guys, let me see if I can get this up on the screen. Hold on a sec. This might take me a sec. Where are we? Oh, no, that's not right. Right, here we go. And if I bring this down here, like that work? There we go. Right. So this, sorry, excuse me. This video that I'm about to show you is from a news article on, what's the name of the website? news.com.au. And the headline of the news article is Teen Phone Thief Immediately Killed by Bus. Okay, which is, it's not necessarily a good story. It's not, is it? It's not a good story, a happy story. I'm not saying it's good that he died for something as insignificant as a phone. I'm not saying it's good or proportionate. That a kid who's desperate or shitty enough to go stealing people's phones. I'm not saying that they should be condemned to death. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is that next to other news stories out there, next to America's slide into a fascist dictatorship, it is a good news story. It's all relative, baby. So, teen phone thief immediately killed by bus. We can file this in the karma section, I suppose. The article says, disturbing footage has captured the moment a teen snatched a mobile phone from an elderly man before being fatally struck by a bus just seconds later. Let's have a look, shall we? Hold on. Where's my Chrome bit? Here we go. Let me see if I can get this running. If I refresh the page, is it going to start working? Excuse me. There we go. We'll just keep that background normal. Right, and then if I do this. Warning. Following video contains content which may be distressing. There you go. You got warning. Right. Okay. Here he is. He looks at the phone. He snatches the phone. He's running across the... Bow! Look at that shit! Look at it! Jesus Christ! Let me see it. Hold on. So he's scoping out the phone. He's working out. Oh, takes it. Runs across the fuck. Immediately mown down by a fucking bus. It's just. Oh, wait. What the fuck? Two nuns in Brazil captivated the internet with beatboxing. You don't get this on the fucking trawl, do you? You don't get this on the news agents. Beatboxing nuns. It's quite catchy, isn't it? And I love, do you know what? I love how, like, well, let's go up to the top bit, right? This is the first video that we were looking at. It was obviously the kids taking the phone, takes the phone, runs off, right? Immediately gets mown down by the thing, right? And then I love how it immediately goes to the nuns, the beatboxing nuns straight afterwards, like it's the afterlife or something. Like imagine how bummed you'd be if you tried to nick a phone, you get hit by a bus, you float up to heaven, and this is what greets you is in the afterlife. It's like I mean, I'd be upset, I think, if it was me. I mean, the beatboxing's all right, but I'm not sure I wouldn't be expecting that in the afterlife. The pearly gates. Although, it could be worse, right? Could be worse. Could be a contemporary country album. Way! All right, guys. We'll wrap it up there for the podcast proper. Should we stay on? I'll stay on for a little Q&A, if you like. I probably am not going to stay on that long for the Q&A because my voice, as I say, like my throat is just completely ruined. Thank you so much, though, for everybody who's tuned in tonight. Hopefully the internet hasn't been too bad. I've just had a sort of... ish kind of awareness that it's glitching a little bit here and there. So hopefully it hasn't been too bad for you. It says encoding overloaded on my OBS thing, which isn't ideal. Yuri has just dropped another super chat. Thank you, Yuri. From bus death to rap penguins. Outstanding. There you go. Did the phone survive undamaged, though? I wonder, says Russell Cannon. Well, that's a good question. If it's an iPhone, I'm going to say no. Probably not. Also, imagine how pissed off you'd be if, like, you died by a bus going, like, 20 miles an hour, but then a guy survives a fucking plane crash. You'd be like, well, like, how does he survive and I die and I float up to heaven? I got to listen to this shit. He should be listening to this with his plane crash. Are you kidding me? Right, guys, that's it for this one. I'll catch up with all of you next week for the alternative paper review, which is out most mornings at about 11 a.m. I'll be back next week for the midweek podcast. Also, I do 2 of these a week. Usually put them out Tuesday nights, Wednesday mornings to Patreons and channel members. If you're not a member of the Patreon yet, do consider it. Let me find your names, actually. Where's the names? Hold on. I redid the names earlier. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. It's going to be stuck in my head now. Where are we? Oh, my goodness. That's massive, isn't it? There you go. Look at these dreams. Very unprofessional. There you go. Special thanks to all of you. I'm not going to go through all of the names here. I'll just show them on the screen. But you're all bloody legends. So you are. And thank you very much to everyone that signed up on the £1 tier. I know it's a lot to ask people to like chip in and contribute to the podcast. Everybody's got bills to pay, so you know, even if it is just a little £1 a month to say thanks and I appreciate what you're doing, I really do appreciate that. But yes, I'll be back next week. Take care of yourselves. Keep it booge, keep it influencer, and we are out this motherfucker. Right, let's break this down, shall we? I'll stop recording.